The debate of whether socialism or capitalism is a better economic system is a debate that's been going on for many years. Both systems are created to benefit the community, whether that be individually or as a whole society, while also creating the most economic growth. The difference between the two economic systems is based that capitalism offers economic freedom, consumer choice, and competition, whereas socialism is controlled by the state in which all resources and services are made equally. The essential feature of capitalism is the profit motive, which is a human natural tendency that aims to create a system in which wealth continues to accumulate. Given that information, capitalism is a better standard economic system as it leads to productivity and economic growth for all. Based on the capitalism socialism spectrum, a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being pure capitalism and 10 being total government, as you can see, by the picture, I would rate myself a 0, which correlates to the United States capitalist system. Despite what socialists claim, capitalism has numerous benefits and creates opportunities for citizens to generate wealth to become productive individuals in the society based on the human nature of selfishness and motivation. While capitalism promotes competition and individual wealth, socialism is based on equality. The Socialist Party is a democratic organization of equals, meaning there are no leaders and there are no followers. In the system, there's common ownership of resources and services that are available to everyone in the community. Wealth is created directly to meet the community needs and not just for the private profit of few, which we see in many societies that creates the class system of the lower, middle, and higher classes. In a social system, this would not exist as everyone would have access to food, shelter, healthcare, and schools. Overall, instead of the decisions being left to a few people in corporate boardrooms, a socialist society would be one where priorities and how to implement them are discussed, debated, and planned by all. Although this seems like the most logical solution to keep everything fair, especially wealth, socialists don't account for the need for competition based on the human profit motive. Most people thrive off of competition. Without it, it creates a lack of motivation and productivity, therefore, a slower economic growth. People are driven by profits and rewards. As the video Are People Born Good says, people are born narcissists with themselves being their number one priority. Therefore, most people would not work nowadays without rewards. And so it is unlikely that people will want to do so under the government system of socialism. Another reason why socialism may seem favorable is that it would take the immense wealth of the rich and use it to meet the basic needs of everyone in society. Many would see this as beneficial because companies would be commonly owned, and so everyone would have opportunities to find a job or make decisions. The socialists believe that instead of making a few people rich, humans should use their ideas to make sure everyone in society has everything they need to lead rich and fulfilling lives, free from poverty, oppression, and violence. However, history has shown that this is not always successful. For example, after the Civil War, the American leaders wanted to create a transcontinental railroad that extended one side of the country to the other. Therefore, the Congress gave federal aid to build the Central Pacific, Union Pacific, and Northern Pacific. Not too long after, however, the Union Pacific was riddled with financial corruption and became unsuccessful. James J. Hill, on the other hand, used his own money to build a railroad that was sturdy, reliable, and successful. The differences between these two railroads was incentives. The government was providing the Union Pacific with all their money, so they didn't have to worry about if it was good or sturdy or reliable, like James J. Hill did, who used his own money. Therefore, people are more motivated to do better if they are working for themselves and creating their own wealth. Similarly to socialism, on the other hand, communism is a system in which everyone gets the same amount of pay. There's equal class systems and workers should be treated fairly. As Kangor says in the Politically Incorrect Guide to Communism, communism derives individuals of their inalienable right. It is a totalitarian ideology pursued the state purpose of ushering in a classless utopia better, even perfect world. Therefore, communist societies have refused the right of their citizens to exit and leave the system. Communism leads to many deaths under the government because many communists have failed to meet their central objectives of creating everything equal and have led to many deaths because people failed to agree with the idea of the government. For example, China's Mao Zedong was responsible for at least 60 million deaths in China. Even worse, in Cambodia, Pol Pot and Khmer Rouge killed upwards of 2 to 3 million people in the populations. These deaths were caused by communist government actions that presumed to be started by a socialist system and views. Socialists believe that capitalism creates people who are selfish. What they see is that every day, hunger and poverty are getting worse, jobs are lost, and homes are in foreclosure, war and environmental destructions, while others are living in increased wealth due to capitalism. Capitalism, however, is an economic and political system in which countries' trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit rather than the state. Capitalism leads to economic growth due to the human nature of a profit motive. Humans have the inclination to want to provide for themselves. Therefore, they are more motivated to create something that is better and that will generate the most wealth. Socialists just assume that people will use the motivation to work hard even though they are not personally benefited, and with the fact that everyone receives the same ultimate benefits from the workforce. People need personal incentives such as private property and investments that will benefit this, and this will overall create a better economic system. For example, we saw this when the Puritans came to America. At first, they decided that in the New World, the whole society would share everything, including food, clothing, and most importantly, the planter's house and gardens, and that at the end of the period, all the resources will be splitted among equally. However, they quickly realized this failed after the first winter when they were not able to create enough resources to be equally divided, and many died from starvation. Therefore, instead, the Puritans decided to divide the land into parcels for each family. This allowed for private ownership of crops, which ultimately transformed the community. The private ownership model produced very good success because the private property made all hands very industrious as so much more corn was planted. This shows that when people, the success of the human nature of profiting for themselves and how working individually creates a more productive society for all and thus supports the capitalism is the more favorable system. Furthermore, the socialist believes that capitalists consume all the wealth as there is a fixed amount of money called the fixed pie fallacy of economics. The term fixed pie fallacy is a term used more generally to refer to the idea that there is a fixed amount of wealth in the world. However, this is not true. Wealth is something that is not static, but something that we are constantly creating more of. Therefore, everyone is able to make more wealth. Socialists believe that wealthy people only get richer by taking wealth from other people and that the government should stop this. However, what is actually being prevented is the creation of new wealth, because where would that money be coming from if consumers were not able to afford what the producers were making? This means that everyone has the opportunity to accumulate wealth, which again is driven by the profit motive. Consumers will buy products that work best for them, and therefore producers will make more of that product, leading to overall growth of products and services and wealth needed in society. Overall, the differences between socialism and capitalism create a conflict of which economic system is most beneficial. Socialism provides equality for all, in which resources and services are available to all members in society, even those who are not able to contribute. It diminishes the economic class system and thus reduces the gap between the wealthy and the poor. Although this would seem beneficial for most, it is not practical compared to capitalism. Capitalism creates economics that gives incentives to work hard, increase efficiency, and result in economic growth. Therefore, capitalism should be the preferred system for all.